Well, hi, I'm Courtney McCullagh. Recently changed my name. It was Courtney Garza, so still getting used to it. But yeah, so I have been vegan for about 10 years. 2012 was about the time, and thankfully I had a college, University of North Texas, that has a all vegan cafeteria. It's still up and running. They actually opened in 2010, and here we are 2022, and it's one of the most popular cafeterias for the students ever. And it's just really cool that I get to be one of the first students to eat there. Totally worth the student loans to eat at an all vegan cafeteria. It was amazing. I mean, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, everything was vegan, no cross contamination. So for me, before I went to college, I was vegetarian. So when I was looking at colleges, I'm like, this place is an all vegan cafeteria. I have to go to this college. So it worked out. I went there and just loved it. It really was the catapult for me to go fully vegan, since I was dipping my toes in before, eating some ice cream here and there, and then finally I was like, there's vegan ice cream, that's totally good, what am I doing? So finally went full vegan in college. But I was vegetarian. I went vegetarian to start when I was about 13, and it was mostly, growing up in Texas, there's a lot of cattle ranches, right? It's just the norm, not necessarily in Dallas, but more in the Fort Worth area. And so I had family that lived in Fort Worth, so we would drive and see them. And of course, we would pass so many cows grazing, and it just hit me like, oh my gosh, look at those cows. But also, all I want to do, like my thought was, all I want to do is hug the cows, right? They're so cute, they're so, big and just like look like they're great huggers. And it hit me, but wait, I eat at McDonald's at the time. When I was 13, I would eat at McDonald's about once a week with my grandma. We would go get a double meat and cheeseburger every Friday. It was like our Friday treat, which even thinking about that is so strange that I was excited for that. But, it was a bonding thing between my grandma. But still, I thought, how can I want to hug this cow that I see just grazing and also go and eat a double meat and cheeseburger once a week? It just, to me, it seems so wrong and just so uneven. And so I remember going to my grandma and telling her, like, I can't do this anymore. I can't eat the cheeseburgers from McDonald's anymore. And of course, she was so confused, and so was my mom and like my whole family. And I told them I just, in my stomach, it felt bad. It felt wrong. And, what's the difference between hugging a cow and hugging our pet dog? And so slowly but surely, I got rid of red meat. And then after that, it was pork. My mom used to make this pork roast that I was actually excited about as a kid. And I remember, I'll never forget this memory. One day she said, I'm making your favorite pork roast. And I'm like, can we not? I don't want to eat it anymore. And I pretty much told her the same story. Like, I don't feel good about eating pork anymore. It's just like, the cow situation. I didn't necessarily see a pig grazing or hanging out. I just thought, I can't do it. I can't eat this anymore. And then slowly but surely got rid of chicken and turkey and like all the other things. It was kind of like I started eliminating different types of animals from my diet. And I was holding on to basically ice cream or like desserts, which obviously I wasn't having every day. So I was mostly vegan, which is funny because I make fun of people now that say they're mostly vegan. I was like, come on, like just go all the way. But everyone's on the journey. If I really counted out all the time that it took me from going vegetarian to fully vegan, it's about 6 years. So I really think whatever your journey allows you, whether it be, the people you live with or your budget or just your work situation, you never know. Everybody has outside forces. And for me, I lived with my mom, obviously, before college, and she bought the groceries. So it was hard for me to go fully vegan. And then when I was out on my own, especially with the help of University of North Texas having that awesome all vegan cafeteria, I was like, I can do this vegan thing. I can buy my own groceries or eat at the cafeteria and I'm totally good. And so I've never looked back. I honestly feel a little sideways when I hear people say, I used to be vegan. I'm like, used to? Like, I could never imagine going back. For me, it's just like, this is the only way I want to go, and I feel so right about it. And there's, as we all know, there's so many benefits other than just like feeling great. You're saving the animals, you're saving the environment, you're contributing to all these eco-friendly properties, and it's just a win-win-win, like 3 wins across the board. So I love telling people that story because I think a lot of people think they have to go, vegan overnight. And it's not the case, because you just really have to take into effect everything in your journey and then, make the decision from there. But I love to tell people that just once you really do it for yourself, and obviously like find the ethical reason, at least for me, is that's kind of like a no-brainer.
When you were getting rid of these animal foods, what were you replacing them with?
Just vegetables. There was, because back then, before 2012, so when I went officially vegan, there really wasn't much. And you think about the years before 2012, when I was like trying vegan, my goodness, tofu, there wasn't much. Faux meats at the time. After I graduated, I did a lot of sales. So I went on a lot of sales calls or sales meetings. So when you're thinking about restaurants back then, there was salad. There was salad, there was hummus and vegetables. I didn't really know. I joke and say that my go-to vegan meal was hummus and raw vegetables, like raw carrots and like celery, because I just didn't know. I was like, this is vegan. I'm good, right? And it was, obviously. But I just did not have a lot of options. But again, I was doing for ethical reasons. Like I didn't care about health. It happened to be very healthy, salad and raw vegetables and hummus. It's just beans, It's so funny. I joke to people that are going vegan now, and I'm like, you're spoiled. Like you have so many options. Back when I went vegan, there wasn't any of this. There was some vegan ice cream. There was some, vegan faux replacement cheese and stuff, but I didn't really touch it because it just kind of was like, to me, weird. And I was mostly eating out because of my job and just all the things I did. So it was like there wasn't any faux meats on restaurant menus for sure back then. So I was just like, well, I guess I'll have another salad. And I was fine with salad. I actually am probably one of the only vegans that you ever meet that doesn't like potatoes. So everyone's like, wait, why don't you order fries? I'm like, I don't like fries. I don't eat potatoes. I know it's weird. I'm not allergic. I'm weird. So salad all the way. That was my go-to.
It sounds like it was probably easy to transition to vegan because you were already acclimated to those foods, huh?
Oh, totally. Yeah, for me, I've always been interested in fitness and eating healthy. So, of course, it was like a cherry on top that it happened to be really healthy, and I had more energy, and I had more, my skin was clearing up. I always had a lot of acne as a teenager and, coming out of high school and going into college. And then once I really ditched dairy, my skin was glowing. I looked so awesome, and I felt more confident too. And so it was really cool to just be like, wow, I love this. Like, look at all these benefits. Of course, I'm going to keep this up. And it helped, again, that I had the cafeteria at my college that I could just rely on and just be like, well, I'm definitely full. I never felt that I was missing anything. It wasn't like, oh, I need to have more protein, or no, I felt like satisfied, and I was very active. I would get up and do like morning runs or yoga or like fitness classes. So by no means did I feel like, oh, I'm so lethargic or whatever because I'm not eating meat or dairy. No, I was great. And, busy college student. I felt like 100% even better, honestly.
Yeah, and that's one of my questions is, what did you notice different physiologically, mentally, emotionally? Anything else you want to add to that?
The biggest thing for me mentally, on top of the awesome like physical attributes of my skin and just my energy and just feeling great, I will add that I never did it for weight loss, because I know some vegans maybe think like, oh, I'll lose all this weight. For me, I didn't really care. Honestly, a lot of my family has just a high metabolism. So for me, I wasn't like, oh, I need to lose weight. I didn't care. I was already, pretty fit and active. But it was the mental part that I felt the most like, wow, this is such a good feeling. Going to bed at night, I felt like I'm doing something bigger than myself, bigger than just my individual life. I'm saving all of these lives in the process. Because even if you boil it down to just like, oh, I'm not eating turkey today, or I'm not eating, steak today, or whatever it is, you're not contributing to eggs being produced. You're not contributing to dairy and like all these other things that, as a vegetarian, because again, I was a vegetarian for like 6 years. So as a vegetarian, I'm like, oh, they don't hurt the cows when they milk them. Oh, they don't hurt the chickens when they take their eggs, but they do. So when I started researching more and learning about all the other stuff that goes into not necessarily meat production, but dairy and eggs, I was just like, how cool is it that I'm actually a factor into helping those animals live a better life, or at least, by boycotting, it contributes like the domino effect. And so going to sleep at night and being like, wow, I did something today, even just by the 3 meals I had. It's just such a good feeling. It like helps you go to sleep. So that for me, it was the mental thing that kept me going. Like as hard as it is, and as many of my friends, because I was the token vegan, I didn't have any vegan friends either. And they thought I was not weird, but they thought I was like, come on, Courtney, like just eat this cheeseburger or whatever. I'm like, no. But I was just like, I'm going to keep doing this. Even though it is hard, and even though my family or my friends might think I'm silly, I'm going to keep doing it because I know it's doing a lot of good.
Were there any challenges?
No, I feel like not, I wouldn't say my friends or family were supportive. Again, they just kind of like rolled their eyes or like thought I was silly because I've always been a picky eater. So that's not new. Like since birth, I've been a picky eater. So I think for my family, they're like, oh, more things she won't eat. Like, come on, Courtney, what will you eat? And so they weren't really like saying I shouldn't do it. They were just like, are you sure? Like, well, and I would just come back to them and say, yeah, I feel like this is like the right thing to do. Like, I'm not saying you guys have to do it. It'd be cool if you did, but this is just, there's no turning back for me. Like, this is just what I want to do. So no, not really challenges. I would have loved to have more alternatives, maybe, meat alternatives or dairy alternatives back then. But honestly, I love hummus and vegetables, and I'm actually a salad fan. So like, I wasn't bummed about eating more salad. I was like, I like greens. So it was just a little bit of, growing pains, but it wasn't the end of the world. I'm always flexible. And again, if I don't feel morally good about something, then I won't do it. But if I feel like, dang, this is what I have to do with my life, then I'm going to keep striving towards that.
How do you deal with family during the holidays that aren't vegan?
Oh, that was fun. I bring a dish or I bring a couple dishes, either enough for me to be satisfied because I have a big appetite, or just enough for them to try. Sometimes I'll either make a dish or I'll get it from a local bakery or like a vegan bakery or a local chef that maybe makes like holiday meals. Now that I have, my husband, we either bring enough for both of us or we'll make sure we have a little bit extra so we can share. But it is funny that even I think it was last Christmas, my cousin, who's the same age as me, by the way, it's not like she's way older, she goes, but where's the protein? We're like, it's all protein. Look at this, Brussels sprouts, like cranberries. I mean, cranberries is not necessarily protein, but like the faux turkey and the faux all these things. We just had to remind her, like, come on, like for one, Google exists. You can Google it. Like all this stuff has protein. We just invite them to try. And none of them really are like, ew, gross. They're just kind of like, they do look at it strange, which is a little off-putting. But we're just like, just try a bite. Like, try a bite. And they're usually pretty open to it. I will say our biggest like bummer is having to see the rest of our family still continue to eat this giant turkey or this giant ham on the table. I mean, they're cool with us eating our own thing, but we haven't gotten to the point where I'm not going to have any turkey or ham or whatever it is. So that's the only, like, for us is just, it's sad. It's sad to see that on the table. But they don't make fun of us by any means. It's just kind of like, you guys do your thing, we'll do ours. So I would say in an ideal world, it'd be cool if we all ate vegan and there wasn't a dead animal on the table. That'd be really beautiful family time. But, maybe in a few years we can convince them. Now,
Some people say to each their own, it's a personal choice. Do you feel like it's important for others to be vegan, and why?
Yes, and obviously anyone who knows me knows that I'm a people pleaser, and I like to just make people comfortable and happy. But if they ask, why do you eat this? I'll say what I just said earlier. It's just like, this is what I feel to be morally just from the research that I've gathered and just all that I know about the, factory farming industry and just meat and dairy industry. This is the best way. And so I'm never going to be someone that pushes something like my beliefs down someone's throats, which, veganism is essentially a belief. But if they ask, I'm going to tell them, I'm going to be very straight. Here's the facts. Here's the research. There's no denying it. It's not a good industry or just a lifestyle to eat meat or dairy. We definitely have encouraged people to eat more vegan or cut things from their diet. I've encouraged people to go fully vegan or mostly vegan, and that's really, for me, that's a win. But again, I do appreciate the people that are aggressive in their veganism and they're like, you gotta go vegan and signs and all the things. I'm just not that type of person, not only with my veganism, but just with anything. Like, I'm the kind of person that I want to make it colorful and fun and like, look how delicious it is and like look how awesome it is to make this food that has no meat or dairy. I think that's more, attractive just for people to be like, oh, wow, she has it so nice and easy. But I know both sides works. I know that the people that are aggressive, that works for some people, or there's people that totally is turned off by that. I just think my approach is more palatable, so I'm going to keep doing that, and I'm going to let the other people keep doing their thing. I certainly don't think they should stop. I'm just not going to join the party there.
Now, and then what do you do for like your day job?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I feel like I do so many projects. But for the main thing, I've actually just celebrated my 4-year anniversary of my company, which is called Sprinkles Creative Agency. It's a vegan social media agency. So I will say that not all of our clients are vegan, but none of them are not vegan, if that makes sense. If, for example, we can do social media for a coffee company, and that's not necessarily not vegan because they literally just sell coffee. They're not selling dairy. They're not selling, anything with eggs or meat. Obviously, you wouldn't have meat in your coffee. That'd be weird. That's not necessarily encroaching on my beliefs, and I've made it very clear with anyone who's looking for my services that I can't get behind promoting something that I just don't believe in, or my team. So I will say it's not just me, but I have a whole team that does, social media content creation or management, like influencer management or community engagement. And we do, like email newsletters or event planning or photography, videography, a bunch of different options for more of the promotional side. So, we do everywhere from doing your social media or just giving you ideas in the consulting. And so it's been really cool. I still am like, wow, I can't believe we've been doing this for 4 years. How cool. My degree is in journalism that I got from University of North Texas, which is where the vegan cafeteria is. And I'm just looking back on, man, I graduated 8 years ago at this point, which blows my mind that it's been that long. But I'm so glad that I have that education so I can, instill it in what I do with my vegan lifestyle. Because for me, if I truly want to see more people go vegan or save more animal lives and what have you, then I need to put my all into it. And my all is my work. So I think it's really cool that I'm able to have this agency to do that. It's opened a lot of doors because I also work as a writer for vegan magazines. So it's kind of like a side kind of projects that I have. So I have Sprinkles as my full time, but I'm also writing for I've written for Veg News and also Veg World. I was the editor-in-chief of Veg World for about 2 years. I actually sold it last September. So, but I'm still writing for them. So I love the position I have now because it's not as hands-on as being editor-in-chief. Being editor-in-chief is a lot of work. I basically had to sell it because Sprinkles was getting so many, new clients, and I was planning a wedding last year. And so it was that on top of that. And also as an influencer, I have my own personal page called McCullagh Courtney. And that turned into a job. In 2020, I found myself more approached by vegan brands and just like brands in general wanting me to promote their products. And for me, I was just like, this is amazing, but I just did not see it turn into a job. I found myself making money off of my personal page, which it was only meant to be a personal page. So it's kind of cool that it flourished into that. And I think it's because in 2020, a lot of companies did have a budget for all of their marketing that kind of got canceled because a lot of events were canceled, right? And so I think they were trying to reallocate their money to digital means. And so I think that's when they were like, let's work with influencers to post on their, social media pages. That way it's not necessarily in-person stuff. And from there, it kind of took off. So I'm very thankful. So long story short, I found myself doing 3 jobs, Sprinkles, McCullagh Courtney, and Veg World. So, and planning a wedding is a job in itself, my goodness. So it was 4 jobs. So I'm happy that I was able to hand that off to actually my assistant for Veg World, and her name's Alora, and she's the new editor-in-chief, and she's doing great. And we still work very closely with each other. And what I'm doing now is I get to travel. So we just got back from, or I say just got back. During the summer, we went to Canada, Greece, LA. Where else did we go? Miami, all these amazing places, specifically just to cover vegan events, like 100% vegan conferences, expos, vegan hotel in Greece, Santorini. It was amazing. And our purpose was to go and be the journalist, talk about how it's all vegan. And that's kind of special for me because I've always loved traveling, and to be able to tell the vegan story from a travel perspective is kind of like a dream come true. Currently, I guess I still have 3 jobs in a way of doing the Veg World work, but also my personal brand and Sprinkles. So it's all vegan.
So did you tell us how all of the different ways that people can get a hold of you, or at least find you online?
Yeah, honestly, it's funny. I've had my clients tell me that I'm very approachable, very reachable. I'm fast to contact on email or social media. Honestly, I'm always on social media. It's my life. So The Color for Courtney is my personal brand. People always DM me there and say like, hey, I'd love to work with you, or hey, let's meet up and talk about ideas or set up a consultation. I'm happy that my company just started doing consultations, so people can reach out to us and we can set aside an hour where we meet up for coffee and we just go over like what you can do with your page to grow it, or how we can help you set up a content calendar or what have you. And I've really loved that. We started doing that just this past month, and we've already gotten so many consultations and already helped people who might not have the funds to hire us full time to run their page, but just wants like some guidance. And that's been cool. So I would say social media is the best bet. And I do have my email listed on my social media. So whether you're looking for, Sprinkles work for your social media needs, or just want to do like a small consultation, or you want to work with me as like a influencer brand, then it's all there. I tell people like, please contact me. I'll reach out, whatever works, but email's best.
And that's mostly, they can get to you through Instagram. Do you have a website?
Yes. Yeah. We have a Sprinkles Creative website, and the link is in the Sprinkles Instagram. So it's like I think it's a Squarespace, but the link is there. It's just Sprinkles Creative LLC.
Is it like a .com, .org?
Yes. Yeah. I actually, if you want to get technical, I have 2 domains. I have a sprinklescreativeagency.com, and then, so I own the rights of that domain. And then I also have a Squarespace that's Sprinkles Creative. So there's so many ways. We're approachable, like I said.
Could you be with somebody who isn't vegan?
No. And I've tried. So I'm the kind of person that it's like, I don't know until I try, right? So no, I tried actually before my husband. I tried dating other guys that weren't vegan, and none of them disrespected my choice. None of them tried to sway me. They weren't like, eat this steak. No, they were like, totally cool. We can go to a restaurant where we can eat both. But for me, watching them eat, sushi that was like real salmon or something, for example, I was like, I don't like this. One, it smelled bad. So it's like smelling the food going out is kind of weird. And also it's just like, I felt like we couldn't connect on a like ethical like foundation. And being with my husband, that's been vegan, almost as long as me, he gets it. So I think that's really special. It's like we can talk about literally everything, not just like work or fun stuff, but also like ethics and morality and just, why we love animals so much and enough to not eat them. It's just like it's all interwoven, I believe. So I feel like that's really magical. And that's where I say to each their own, because I do know a lot of friends of mine that are married to non-vegans, and they've been married for like 15 years and they're doing great. But for me, I'm just like, it's not for me. I couldn't do that. I mean, props to you for making it work for so long, and you guys look so happy. But I think I would feel like something's missing, and I don't with my husband. So that's great.
Do you have any success stories, like where you've either witnessed somebody or you were a part of somebody's like change and it was a really impactful or positive thing that you want to share?
Yes. Yeah. And recently we actually had a couple that we're friends with. They went vegan earlier this year, and they're just so excited. And they said that we are their inspiration because we're a vegan couple and they aspire to be a vegan couple. And it's so cool. They're always like, can we go out to eat together? Or like, what do you guys think about this product? And she's so cute, the girlfriend in the couple. She's like, anything you post about, I go and buy immediately. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Because it works out because I have a lot of discount codes. So people know to go to my page and they're like, oh, I could just put in colorful 10 and I get 10% off or something. And of course, like, I'm only going to promote products that I really like. And I'm not going to say it like, you should buy this because I get some money. No, like, I'm eating these vegan products or I'm actually wearing them or whatever it is. And so the fact that someone looks at my page and they know they can trust me, like this, she vetted this product, it's vegan, it's cruelty free, and it's delicious, whatever, if it happens to be food. And they go and buy it because they're like, oh, Courtney, she did the hard work for me. She tried it and she made sure all was good. So I'm going to go ahead and buy it. And it's been really cool to see their journey because I think she said they went vegan in February of this year. And what are we in October, basically, almost? They're both like, it's a guy and a girl couple, and they're both just like, yeah, we feel great and we love Just Egg and we make all the, they list all these brands that like, you guys turned us on to this, and it's really inspiring. It makes my heart warm because I'm like, I'm so glad. Like, they clearly are happy they made this decision, and they basically tell us, you both are our models, and I'm like, that's so awesome. So it warms my heart, and it's kind of like it makes you feel like, again, you're doing something bigger than you, and you're able to share that not only for the animals to benefit, but friends, friends that you've known for a while, and they just happen to go vegan because you were the leading by example, So I love that.
What are some of your favorite foods to eat?
Hard. I feel like I asked this question because we watch a lot of like murder mystery shows, and I'm like, this is so morbid. I don't mean to be morbid, but there's like the last meal that someone eats before they get executed, and I'm like, what would your last meal be? And I asked my husband, and I think mine would be either nachos or waffles, which is like so different. But I really like breakfast food, but I also like Mexican food. So much so that we actually had a vegan nacho bar at our wedding. All vegan nacho bar. It was awesome. So I love nachos. There's actually a really good vegan queso called Credo, and they're based in Austin, Texas. And it's like the best queso, one, because it's oil-free. It's all vegetables. There's no like added weird preservatives or oils or any unnecessary stuff. It's just cashews. And it's just like, it's good on everything. And anything like chips, I have these really awesome, there's these great chips that are kind of vegetable based. I will say it used to be a company called Forager, but they just discontinued my favorite chips, which is so sad. But yeah, anything crunchy. I really like granola too, which I feel like is such a hippie standard. Like you say hippie granola. I'm like, but granola's so good. Why does it have to be bad? I love vegan protein bars because there's so many ways you can get vegan protein. As anyone who's been vegan for a long time knows, there's a really good brand called No Cow, which is like, the name is perfect. So it's no cow, no way. And I love them because we travel a lot. So having like a solid, like on the go, like protein packed snack is always beneficial, especially for active people. And so I think that kind of, hopefully that covers some of my favorite brands, but I feel like if you looked at my foods that I eat almost every day, it's something crunchy like granola or chips or popcorn. Oh my gosh, popcorn you can't go wrong with. It's so easy to make. We actually got a amazing wedding gift. It's like a stovetop popcorn maker, so you can do it just like movie theater style, but like super healthy and on your stove, instead of like buying the prepackaged ones. So yeah, I mean, I feel like when people start to go vegan too, they don't realize how many things they're eating that are already vegan. Like usually popcorn at the movie theater is vegan. Like the oil they use is either soybean or canola or coconut. And so it's like, that's already vegan. You don't have to worry about it. Or like obviously fruit and vegetables, peanut butter and jelly. So I always like to encourage people to like sit down and think about their favorite foods and realize that a lot of it's already vegan. And that's kind of why when you asked, like, was it hard to make the transition? It really wasn't, because it's like, oh wait, I'm already eating mostly vegan. I'm good. So yeah.
Now, you didn't really name like all of the whole food categories that I try to promote personally.
Sweet potatoes. Okay, I love sweet potatoes. You cannot go wrong with just like a plain Jane sweet potato. I know some people like to add like nut butters to them to make them like sweet, or maybe like a granola or something, or some kind of fruit. I've seen like breakfast sweet potatoes, but for me, my favorite is getting a sweet potato, adding sauteed spinach, and then maybe like chickpeas or even like falafel, and make it Mediterranean, and then tahini on top. Oh, you can't go wrong with just like, I feel like a Mediterranean stuffed sweet potato, open-faced, the best. Like I actually had it last night, to be honest. That's like one of my favorite like whole foods plant-based meals, because you're hitting on all the stuff, the fats, the carbs, the leafy greens, you know, potassium, all the things, and protein. So it's really like a win-win as far as like a complete meal. But yeah, Whole Foods, obviously, like you can't go wrong with apples. Oh my God, the whole apple a day keeps the doctor away is so true. Apples are the best, especially around the fall time. And if you haven't never been apple picking, it's so fun to feel like I picked that from the tree and I get to eat it. It's a fun little adventure if you're ever looking for a fun fall date night. Or date day. So yeah, I mean, I do eat a lot of whole foods, plant-based. It's just hard because we travel a lot. So like keeping up with like leafy greens or like vegetables that won't go bad when you're on the road is a little bit tougher, but it's all about preparation if you have the time. So I think there's a lot you could do there. But being in the, I guess, journalism world and also like influencer world, I get sent a lot of products and a lot of them are packaged, which is, yeah, not the best, but to be fair, everything is 100% vegan. I always tell companies, like, do not send it to me if it's not vegan. And some of them still messed up. And of course, I think we all as vegans know to look at the label like 10 times just to be safe, because you don't want to ingest that. But if they do send it to me, then I usually give it to like a neighbor or like a family member, because I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm not going to eat it. I've actually had people on my influencer side be like, you eat a lot of packaged goods. I'm like, that's because I get sent a lot of packaged goods, so I don't want it to go to waste, and it's all vegan. So, hope that helps.
Would you say the majority of what you eat is packaged, or?
So no, yes and no, but mostly no, because I do eat out a lot. So I work with a lot of my clients are restaurants. So they're vegan restaurants or they have like vegan options, right? One, I grew up in the restaurant industry. So my whole life I've kind of been eating at restaurants. Not really, my family's not really big on cooking, which is funny. So I do cook, but I will say we mostly eat at restaurants just because we're doing a photo shoot, or we're doing, you know, some kind of promotion for them, or a restaurant wants us to come out to report for Veg World. So we do eat fresh foods, but we don't cook it, you know, so it's usually like the restaurant does the work and we just kind of show it off, which is very fun. I like to do it. There's some nights where I'm like, I just want to eat at home. Can we just go cook? I crave cooking sometimes because we're just always out. So no, a lot of my food is fresh, but I will say oftentimes in my line of work, I'm not the one making it, so.
Is it hard when you travel?
No, because usually what I do is, again, my journalism brain comes on and I'm like, let me plan it out. So for example, we went to Ireland for 2 weeks and I reached out to all the vegan restaurants in Ireland on our route, because we rented a car and we basically drove the coast. And every vegan restaurant I reached out to in advance and I said, hey, I'm going to write an article about how to be vegan in Ireland, for example. Would you be willing to work with us so I can promote your restaurant and your vegan options in exchange for, you know, marketing/journalism? And they all said yes. So we essentially ate for free in all vegan in Ireland for 2 weeks. Now I will say, because some people think, oh, it must be nice to eat for free. It was a lot of work because I had to plan it all. I had to reach out to their team. I had to coordinate a time. We had to make sure we got all photos, like, you know, have our whole setup. And also we wrote an article and printed it and published it on our website. So we got a nice exchange. It's like a bartering system. And so I like to remind people there is a lot of work that goes in behind, you know, influencer management, but also as a journalist, there's just a lot of stuff that goes into that. But it's not hard. Again, you do have to plan in advance. Most of the time, you can't just walk into somewhere and be like, where are your vegan options? You don't have any? What? You know, make sure you at least search their website and just see if they have a vegan option. And I will say, if they don't feel scared to just email them. Email the chef, because oftentimes, if it's a real chef, they like to be challenged. They're like, ooh, I get to play around with this new spice or this new vegetable, and I can create something totally different than what we usually serve. And then I've seen, this is the coolest part, the chef is so excited from what they made you, they'll add it to the menu, and it's their new vegan option. It happens all the time, and especially now these days, because I feel like more chefs and companies are waking up to the fact that more people are going vegan. So I feel like it's a win-win.
Do you ever kind of like try to avoid using the word vegan?
No. It's funny. I've had a lot of companies clearly avoid it in their marketing, and I'm like, I get it. If that works for you, you don't want to be, too much for people, because I guess in a way some people think it's a taboo to use that word. And so I've seen companies have it in their marketing and they take it out, and then vice versa, they put it in. And for me, I like for people to know that I'm vegan. Sometimes I've been scared to say, I'm actually vegan, sorry. Like we've gone, I was actually at the store today, Central Market here in Dallas, and this guy was doing a demo of, I'm actually not sure what he was demoing, but it was clearly chicken. And he was so nice. He was like, oh, do you want to try some of our food? And I was like, I'm actually vegan. And he was totally cool about it, but so I was kind of expecting him to be like, oh, like, weird that you're vegan, but he was totally understanding, and most people are. Again, we're in 2022, like about to be 2023. I feel like everybody knows what vegan means and they're more open to it. It wasn't the case like 10 years ago, but I like to tell people that because I feel like if anything, they're like, oh, vegan, wow, what do you eat? And then it kind of opens the door for a conversation. And again, I'm the kind of person that's very like open and like friendly and colorful, clearly. So I'm like, oh, I get to eat all these beautiful foods, and like follow me on Instagram. You can see all the stuff that I post, and it's always really delicious. And I find that people are more excited to learn more if they don't really know a lot about veganism. So in my daily life, I'm going to talk about being vegan, but I'm not going to totally hate on people that don't want to include it in their marketing. Like, I've seen, like, Just Egg is a perfect example. Like, they're killing it. They're everywhere right now, but nowhere in their stuff does it say vegan, like vegan egg or something. They could put it there. But I feel like their marketing is an example of a company that's doing well that doesn't have it in there,
You take any supplements?
No, actually, I just started taking an omega-3 supplement that is vegan, and it's actually a new product. It's out of Iceland, and it's really cool because all of their facility is sustainable. So it's made out of algae. Like, that's it. So obviously no fish is involved because we don't need that. And it's really cool. So I just started taking the omega-3 supplement. I've got to be honest, over the years, I've taken a few different supplements. And I don't know if it's because I'm a naturally like very high energy person, but I don't really notice a difference. But again, everybody's body's different. So some people might take the exact same supplement that I'm taking and they might feel completely different after like a month. But me and my husband have tried so many, like B12, like all the things. I don't feel it. I never feel it. So I don't know if it's because we already eat a lot of leafy greens and we're pretty active people, but yeah, supplements, I think people should take them, but I personally don't see a lot. But again, everyone's different.
Yeah, I don't know if you would notice anything from taking B12 until you got dementia.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's one that, most people probably should take, but no ailments, no anemia, nothing?
No. Which is amazing because I remember when I first went vegan, that's my mom's biggest concern. You're going to be anemic. Never once. Never. I got my blood taken and so many doctors. I'll never forget when one of the doctors, he was clearly an older man, he was like, your charts are amazing and you're vegan? That's great. He was actually blown away that I didn't eat meat or dairy. And I'm like, yep. So it's cool.
Define veganism.
Ooh. For me, veganism is an ethical decision. I would never say it's a diet, even though it encompasses your diet. I just think if anyone's considering going, or maybe they've been vegan for a while and they're like, oh, this is so hard, maybe stop thinking of it as a diet, because that's gonna get you off of it. I went into it, again, I didn't really care if I lost weight or gained weight. To me, I was like, I just want to save animals. I love them. I want them to live their life and flourish and thrive. And then when I did all the research and found, wow, it's also really good for me, cherry on top, so for me, it's ethical. It's about morality. It's about what's good for every creature. I happen to be one of the creatures that benefits. And so I think if anyone could define it in a word, it would be ethical. So,
Do you think we'll ever see a vegan world?
I wish. It's funny because especially when I took on Veg World, that's what I would say is like one day I hope to have a Veg World. I think we have a lot of growth, but there are so many people and companies and societies, in different countries that are really paving the way. I don't know if we're gonna see it in our lifetime. Oh, that would be the dream. But I'm probably one of the most optimistic people you're ever going to meet. So I'm going to say yes, because I would love that. I think that's just like the epitome of life. But, I need to be a little realistic and think that we need some time. It's going to take some time.
In addition to you, what are some other resources people might want to consider if they're wanting to learn more about this?
All the journalistic avenues like Veg World, Veg News, I think they're amazing. I think every approach, what's the other one? One Green Planet. So many great recipes on there too. One Green Planet was actually, for me, when I first started going vegan, a great resource for recipes. And also a girl that I followed, and she's amazing. I actually got to meet her and I felt starstruck. She helped me go vegan, is Chocolate Covered Katie. Awesome blog, huge following, and we're talking like hundreds of thousands of people. She just has really approachable and like easy recipes. Especially if you have a sweet tooth like I do. She made it easy for me to like transition my sweet tooth love to vegan 100%, because I think I mentioned one of the last things I gave up was ice cream, but also I really loved cake and cupcakes and cookies and all the things. So I'm like, if I can only transfer that to have no dairy in it, and then she made it easy for me to do that. So there's so many resources, and I can even like type it out, but on my personal page I try to tag as many things. I'm all about sharing the love. So if you follow me and also just go to my followers, or not followers, who I follow, everyone on that is really great resource.
Why do you think some people quit?
Because of the diet. I think they may think that they're going to lose a bunch of weight really fast, or they're, going to get all these other benefits. And just with anything great in life, it's going to take time. And also there's a way that you need to do it. I think the more you plan, and also the more you're realistic. Like, for example, if you are wanting to lose weight, that's possible. But you also have to be very strategic with your workout plan, or be very strategic with your micro or macronutrients to get to the fitness goals that you want to achieve. But it's really sad when people say that it's because they didn't reach the goals they wanted to, or their doctor said they were missing all of these, nutrients, when it's probably just because, I hate to call it out on their regard, but poor planning. So I think it's a combination of poor planning and just having unrealistic goals in a short amount of time. It's sad, but we all know that there's been a huge surge of people wanting to go keto because you can lose so much weight in a short amount of time. But then we all know what the long-term consequences of keto, which there are way more than there are benefits. I like to ask people, what is your goal? And also, have you thought about the other reasons to go vegan, such as the ethical or the, saving animals or being kinder to the planet kind of thing. So that's always what we like to ask people, like, well, what happened? Was it your doctor, or was it your, high expectations or your timeline? So I would say it's really the health aspect why people stop.
Do you have any regrets?
No. Yeah, honestly, maybe that I wish I could have done it sooner. Like, I wish I went vegan as soon as I made the decision to stop eating red meat when I was 13. I wish then I could have had the opportunity to go fully vegan, but again, I wasn't buying my own groceries. I didn't even have any money. I didn't have a job. So maybe if I could have had more power or maybe give myself more power to stand up to my parents and be like, no, we need to stop eating dairy and meat in the house. But that's the only thing. But again, as a kid, it's kind of hard. So.
And do you have a favorite quote you want to share, or two, or however many?
Oh, yes. The biggest one, I think it's such a stereotypical quote. Everybody knows this one, but I think it really lends to a vegan lifestyle, and also the way I like to live my lifestyle, which is do unto others. It's just so easy. It's just like, just because the reality is, and I'm learning this the older I get, and also the more into this world I kind of see, there's a lot of bad people in the world, and they might not even purposely be bad, but they aren't very kind. And if I can do anything, it's not stoop to their level, not give them the rudeness or the, unkind behavior back, but instead be the smiling, face that they see in the day. And maybe that can help change their mood or help them pay it forward and smile, or help someone that they see next on their path. So for me, it's just like, you never know who you're going to help if you can just be a kind force of nature in the world. And that's helping animals too, and people. So it's just like, why can't we all win? You don't have to just be an animal lover or a people lover. Everyone can win. So